The 7, right back to him once more. Burns, the one who brings him to the ground.
Jim, I love these situations. 3rd and goal. What are they going to call?
What's up, viewers? Sorry for the little break. Personal matters came up, but I'm back. And today I'm going to show you something I feel a lot of people just start taking advantage of, and it's the option routes. Most people know what option routes are, but how often do you use them in your Madden game? I stayed away from them for the longest time because I just didn't know what route the wide receiver was going to run. So while I'm expecting a curl, the wide receiver runs a streak and bad things happen. Something Eli Manning and his wide receivers are guilty of doing a lot. And that's also why Tom Brady has had so much success with Wes Welker and currently Julian Edelman. Because he trusted his wideouts will be where he expects based on the coverage. And that's why these vertically challenged wideouts are able to churn out big catch seasons. So this year I said, Chris, you're going to stop being scared of the option route and you're going to work this into your offense. Today I'm going to show you one of my favorite pass plays this year that utilizes the option route, and it's out of shotgun trips, and it's called 60 slide. You see we got 3 option routes, but I'm only going to use 2 of them. Our hot route B on the slant and Y on the curl, so this is how your play should look. This is where each receiver is placed based on your depth chart, and what I do is I put my tallest wide receiver at my number 1, fastest guy at my number 2, and my next tallest at my number 4 spot. And the best remaining guy at number 3. I'll explain why on all of these shortly. Okay, so your first read of the play will be to be on the slant route. I've been playing Madden since 03 and I've noticed there's always been this weird relationship between good players and the slant. As if it's beneath them to use it or something, and you suck if you beat them using it. One of my good Madden buddies even calls it a bum route. Come on now. The effectiveness and versatility of the slant is why it will never leave the NFL and shouldn't leave your Madden game either. Versus bump man or off coverage unless the corner is psychic, who, let's be real, sometimes they are. The receiver gets inside position every time and all you gotta do is lead inside for the catch. Versus zone, since he's by himself, he can't work the slant flat combo with another receiver to move a defender. So unless there is a huge winner to throw to, he's better off not being thrown at. Next read is Y on the curl route. Versus zone, his job is to hold any defender from reacting to other routes. And honestly, unless it's user defender, the computer will give up the 5-yard curl all day to defend potentially bigger plays, which is fair. And user controlled linebackers also ignore the curl half the time unless it's the only route in the area. So it's there if you want it. And versus man, if you watch any of my previous videos, I'm not shy about putting curl routes in some of my plays, just because of its effectiveness versus man defense. As in, it's an automatic catch and forces your opponent to user defend it, or better yet, double team a 5-yard route. Next is RB, who runs the harder of the 2 option routes, being as he has 3 routes to choose from, a fade, a post, and a curl route. Versus man defense, RB will either run a curl or a post. You want to throw it to the left, which would be the receiver's back shoulder once he's turning around for the curl, and lead to the right when he's running a post. The timing is crucial on the post because if too early or late, the defender will jump it. You want to throw it about as soon as you realize it's a post before the defender can react. Versus cover 2, he will run a post to stretch the safeties. You can lead pass high in between the safeties and over the linebackers. Versus cover 3, he will run a fade to run off the deep safety, and you can actually use this by lead passing up and using, which is why I put a tall receiver here. And he runs a curl versus cover 4 to sit in front of the safety where you can again lead pass to the left, the receiver's back shoulder. Your next read will be X. And he has the easier of the 2 option routes because he only has 2 routes he can run, a curl or a fade. Versus cover 3 and 4, X will team up with the A receiver and convert to a curl to create the common curl flat combo. A drags the flat defender to the sidelines and X sits in the area right behind him and in front of the deep corner for the catch. Versus cover 2, he will run a fade route to stretch the flat defender, which will be the corner, and the safety who has to worry about RB running down the middle. If the corner follows the fade, you can hit A for the check down to exploit the vacant area. But if the corner commits too early to the flats, you lead past X to the sidelines, throwing away from the safety. Versus man, with an all-foot press coverage, he will also run a fade route. Which is why I like to put tall receiver as my number 1, so when he does convert this route to a fade, he still is an option. Or a better option, as I've seen people use guys like this and this on fade routes and still get busy. Your last read of the play will be A on the bubble screen route. Whether it's man or zone, since he's running a route to the sidelines, all you have to ask yourself is he covered or not? If he's open, which would be mostly versus zone blitzes since the flats are usually exposed, or a flat defender who didn't drop down, you just got to make sure they're not setting you up for an interception by the cornerback. Because we've all been guilty of thinking we got an easy catch, but old boy wanted you to think that only to have a defender waiting. So you make a quick check to see if the corner is sitting on a route. If all is good, you lead pass to the right to pick up yards after the catch. Alright fellas, that's all I got for you today. Let me know if you'd like to play and if you'd like a full scheme out of this formation. Be good, y'all.